Hey guys, it's cbgray coming to you guys live at another Destiny video. How are you guys doing today? So in today's video, guys, we got a lot to talk about because today's reset day, but not only is it reset day, but it's the last reset before the new DLC for Destiny 2, the Warmind expansion, and with that comes a lot of pressure on Bungie because they really need to do well and perform well if they want to keep some of this player base going into the summer and not hemorrhage miserably the way they have been. So they have a lot riding on this DLC, and honestly September is going to be the DLC that really brings all the things back that people are really wanting back, but in the meantime people aren't going to wait until September. So basically I'm going to be talking to you guys today about the things that Bungie needs to do in the Warmind expansion, or at least the things I think are most important for basically not only just saving this franchise but holding people until the next DLC in September. So let's get right into this. I'm gonna keep this under 20 minutes. I'm gonna do it the same way I did the other videos that were majorly successful, so thank you guys for that. Those are some of my best videos ever. I really do appreciate that. So smash the like button on this, and if you want to see more videos like this, let me know. Also follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/cbgray. Alright, let's start this timer up right now. Alright, so here we go, guys. So the first thing, guys, that I really think is going to be key in Destiny 2 for the Warmind expansion is an actual grind. And when I say that, I made another video back in the day that was talking about how progression was all wrong, and I suggest you check it out if you haven't already. And basically in that video I was just talking about all of the reasons why the grind in Destiny 2 was dead. And people would get back to me and be like, oh, but there's the forge weapons, those are hard to get, blah 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 blah. But in the grand scheme of things, those weapons, a lot of them were pointless and there was no reason to actually grind them. So it's not a grind when it's just meaningless things. Well, meaningless collectibles is what I'll call them. So like they really need to have a purpose. Like people didn't grind for the Gallahorn for it to be trashed, they grinded it because it was good. So the grind was non-existent in Curse of Osiris. It was really easy to get to 335. There was no point in doing the in-game activities, which led to there being no in-game, because if I could get to 335 without doing an activity like the Prestige Raid, and if it wasn't giving higher level loot, why would I ever do it? And if stuff was cosmetic, why would I ever do it? So that was a real big thing. The grind was non-existent. It was easy. The game was too easy. It was appealing to casuals, and there's nothing wrong with having a game where casuals can play it, but you can't target casuals as your player base, because when you do that, casuals will play the game, and then once they finish the campaign, they leave and they play another 5 games that they got for Christmas. And hardcore players are looking for stuff to grind and show on Twitch and make YouTube videos of that keeps people talking about the game and keeps people playing until the next expansion. So if you rely on casuals to carry your game, yeah, your numbers are going to look great in the first few weeks like it did in the beginning of Destiny 2, but then after that you just slowly die, or in Destiny 2's case, you die very fast. So that's going to be the biggest thing first, guys. So the next light level cap is going to be 385, and they've already talked about how it's going to be a lot harder to progress in the Warmind expansion than it has been in the past. They reworked things, so we're really just going to have to wait and see how much weight that really holds. So that's the real big thing. I really feel like if we're 385 in 2 weeks, I'm gonna be a little upset, guys. Like I really am. Like that's just too short. When I spent months and months grinding to get to max level back in the day, like if I'm there within the first 2 weeks or even 3 weeks, I'm not gonna be happy. So that's gonna be the first big thing, guys. And moving from there, another big thing that I want to talk about, I already know I talked just a second about the Gallahorn and that we grinded it because it was so good. And weapons like those types of exotics were so great. Exotics have to be worth getting again. Not just the ones that we have either. Like I know that Bungie's talking about boosting a lot of the exotics that already exist, such as the Sturm, such as the Rat King, such as the Graviton Lance. But the thing is, those buffs are coming to guns that are already in my inventory, and that's not going to cut it. So those guns are already in my possession. I need guns that I can go chase now. Like it's good that they made the exotics that we already have good. Now they need to make the exotics we don't have even better. So I want to have stuff worth grinding for. I don't want it to be easy. I don't want for the exotics to drop out of public events. That's way too easy. The exotics should mainly drop out of raids, maybe trials. I guess if you're gonna keep Xur, and then and maybe Prestige Nightfalls. Like those are the only things I put exotics in for the most part. I wouldn't just be throwing exotics out like they're water, because then once I get all of my exotics in the first week or two, That's one less thing to do in the endgame. Where in Destiny 1, you could be playing 3 months later after beating the story, because obviously there wasn't much story in Destiny 1. It wasn't story that kept us playing, it was all the things around the game that kept us playing. So if the exotics are already thrown in our faces, it's not going to work, guys. That's one of the things that we grind for. That goes back to my first point of needing something to grind for. So basically, guys, we need powerful exotics. We need exotics to be hard to get. We need the chase to come back. I want to grind raids trying to get Galahorn-like weapons. I want to grind Nightfalls to get Icebreaker-type weapons. I want there to be powerful exotics worth grinding for, guys. So that's going to be really important. And then that's not it. Another thing that Destiny 1 did such a great job on, got such great fan feedback on, was those exotic secret quests. Like, who didn't like doing the Sleeper Simulant or the Black Spindle or the Outbreak Prime quest? Like, where were all those quests? Like, it was just like they were forgotten about, and that's really, really upsetting, because like the No Time to Explain quest, all of those quests, the Thorn quest back in the day, all of those exotic quests were reasons to play the game. It was a chase, it was part of the end game, it was something that kept us playing back then, and now it's something that's just completely been taken out. Like, I missed running, like waiting for the daily to come so I could help people get Black Spindle, or with Outbreak Prime, taking people through Axis so they could get it. Just all of those different things. Even the Touch of Malice quest, running all through the Dreadnought, trying to get calcified fragments so that you could get that gun. There were so many things we used to do back in the day to get exotics, and now the only thing I do now is do a public event and then I get an exotic. Like, how can you go from grinding for calcified fragments, grinding an Axis raid from start to finish where you can't leave, opening up monitors, and then you're telling me the only exotics I can get are from like public events, and then one Legend of Acreus, and then not even an exotic from the raid layer besides a ghost? But what do ghosts even do? So that's my point, guys. So exotics have to be worth getting again. So let's hope that exotics are made great again in the future. Like, only time will tell with that, guys, but we'll see. So let's move on from that. And so basically what I just talked about, is kind of nice how we're just transitioning, but I said that Destiny 1, the story wasn't what was carrying Destiny 1, and it wasn't. The story was awful, and in a lot of ways it was empty. There was nothing to it. We just scanned ghosts, we'd fight enemies, rinse, repeat, nothing special. But one thing that was cool, was that there was lore backed behind the story. There was Grimoire, there was ghosts, there was all these cool things that we could read lore and kind of tell the story, because the game didn't really tell the story. In Destiny 2, there's no story, and there's no Grimoire or anything. So in the story for Destiny 1 in vanilla, we go kill Gaul, we do all this stuff, and then that leads to a raid where we're in a Leviathan killing Callus, and no one understands why, and then it's not even Callus. And then in Curse of Osiris, we're doing all this stuff with Osiris that's not even really in the lore, and then we, instead of killing like Panoptes in the raid or something, we're in the raid layer killing Argos with no real explanation on why, and it just doesn't really flow. Like, this was my thing, guys. When it was Destiny vanilla, like, let's take Dark Below. We're fighting Hive. We're fighting to go to find Crota. The raid, we kill Crota. In House of Wolves, we're trying to kill Skolas. In the Prison Elders, we kill Skolas. In King's Fall, we're trying to find Oryx. In the raid, who do we kill? Oryx. In Rise of Iron, we're dealing with Siva. Who do we kill in the raid? A Siva god. We kill a spider Siva Axis monster. In Destiny 2, it's just like you go fight Callus's forces in the Red Legion, and then you're going against a fat Callus creature, and I just don't understand. And then we talk about Osiris, where there was so much potential to do so many things right with Trials of Osiris, and painting the story and doing all this cool stuff in the Infinite Forest, having some crazy horde mode inside of it, and then the best you can do is a raid layer with Argos. It didn't even make sense, guys. It didn't make sense. So we need a really good story in Destiny 2. That's going to be something that's very, 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 very important. Like, I can't stress it enough how important telling a good story in the Warmind is going to be. I want to learn more about Anna Bray. I want to learn about Clovis Bray. I want to learn about Rasputin. I want to know why they're on Mars. I want to know all of these things, and I expect them to tell us a good story. I really do. So we'll see how that goes, guys. So transitioning on from the story, the in-game needs to be worth doing, as I said, right? And so two of the big in-game pieces that I feel like really need improvement, one is the raid/rate layer. So within this next rate layer, it needs to be something worth doing, you know? And when you think about Callus, the first raid, the normal Leviathan raid, was worth doing. The gear wasn't all that, but it gave us powerful stuff that got us closer to the max. But the prestige level didn't give us anything better than that. And that can't happen in this rate layer. This rate layer needs to give gear that can only be, like the level can only be gotten in in-game activities. So I don't want to be able to get to max level through a public event. I want to be able to get to max level through grinding the rate layer. And if not the rate layer, maybe trials. But it needs to be these in-games activities, prestige nightfalls. Within the rate layer, we need to have meaningful gear. We need to have gear that has raid perks. I think raid mods was definitely a step in the right direction. I'd like to see it taken a step further with the perks just being on the guns. Like, I feel like we don't even really need to have mods. I know it adds some customability, but I really like the way the old system was. I thought it worked. I really did think it worked. And if it didn't, like, you can disagree and let me know if you think the mods were a better system, but I just honestly like the way that it used to be. And I feel like if it's not broken, sometimes you just need to not fix anything. Like, you think that'd just be second nature, but I guess it's not. So we need, like, to have meaningful stuff, like I said, but then I also liked how we used to have a raid set of, like, armor that was for normal and a raid set of armor that was for hard. I really liked that, especially in Oryx. I thought that was really cool. I liked where you could get the adept versions of guns within trials. There were so many different, like, cool things that set people apart, where you knew if somebody did a normal activity or if somebody did a hard mode. You knew that people were grinding hard mode for Fate Bringers or different, like, guns within Atheon or in Crota or in any of these activities, trying to get Words of Crotas, trying to get Black Hammers, trying to get all of these different guns back in the day. And now I just feel like that's really been lost, because I just don't really care. The only gun I really use from the raid is Sins of the Past, and I guess you can Legend of Acreus as well. And we need more exotics like that. We need more raid exotics. I was disappointed there was no raid exotic in Argos. So hopefully we'll get one in the next game, guys. So I don't want to rant too much about the raid, but I feel like that's really important that the Spire of Stars, which is the name of the next raid layer, A, makes sense, but B, gives us important gear that's worth getting. That's what I want. I want stuff that's worth actually having. So let's hope that actually happens, guys. So also, I feel like Trials needs to be redone. Honestly, I'm not a fan of Trials anymore. I really feel like the radar needs to come back. I feel like it's lost its spark. The numbers are dying so quickly, and I feel like that's a huge problem. I feel like they should scrap Trials of the Nine, bring back Trials of Osiris, eventually bring back Elim, do something a little more fun to bring the fun back into Trials. I feel like it's really lost its spark, and I'm just hoping they do something to redo that. So I don't want to speak too much on Trials, but I do feel like it definitely needs to be reworked. So let's move on from Trials, and let's talk about Escalation Protocol for a little bit. So I feel like this is a good chance also to have people in the public spaces, in the patrol spaces, excuse me, really grinding the activities if they keep it hard and keep it worth grinding for, just like Archon's Forge in the past. Like, I feel like there's an armor set, I believe, for it, as well as weapons, and I feel like that's definitely a great idea. And I feel like as long as they make it where it's not easy, their loot doesn't drop too fast, that it's an actual grind, I feel like this is a chance to really keep people coming back for the different armor sets and for the weapons, because I think the weapons look great. Like, they look very similar to Sleeper Simulant, and a lot of people actually think that Sleeper Simulant's coming back, which would actually be really cool as long as they also bring other good weapons. Like, bringing good weapons from the past doesn't give you a pass not to bring creative weapons in the future. So let's hope that Escalation Protocol is really good, guys. I feel like that's a really important thing, especially when this isn't going to be a DLC on the size of the September update, so we really need these events that we do have to be worth doing. So let's hope, guys, that Escalation Protocol is good. And then another big thing, guys, that I've been preaching for since the beginning of Destiny 2 is more selection. And this kills me. When I play Crucible, I don't want to choose between quick play and competitive. I want to be able to choose Supremacy, or Control, or Elimination, or Rift, or Rumble, or Countdown, or Survival, or any of these these game modes or control. I just don't understand why the selection was taken out of Destiny 2. If I really like the one story mission where I killed Gaul, why do I have to go to a Korra to relive that or create a new character? I feel like that's such a dumb thing. If I really like the strike where I'm killing that Vex Hobgoblin, why is it that I need to go into a slot generator and hope that I get that strike? This is a problem. I feel like we're eliminating people's choice, which equals not doing it at all. If there's a certain story mission I want to do, I'm not going to sit there and wait for a Korra to offer it. I'm just going to forget about it and never do it. Same thing with the strike. If there's a strike I want to do, I'm not going to try 7 times and back out to get that strike. I'm not going to do it. And that's a big thing. I feel like choice needs to bring back into Destiny 2. I feel like it's been gone in a lot of ways. I don't want to choose between competitive or quick play for much longer. I feel like they need a better method, and that's where I'm gonna leave it at. Hopefully you guys agree with that. Let me know if you don't, and if you have any other alternative methods that we could do to make that better. But I feel like we need more choice, and based off that, guys, that transitions back into the strikes. Maybe if they're not gonna have us be able to choose our strikes, if they at least put strike specific loot in it, then I'd be down to grind those different strikes. Like, and I'm not talking about a strike ghost, because I'm tired of the ghost. Until the ghost can like pull out some laser beam and shoot an ad, I don't care about the ghost. The thing that I care about is the weapons. I really like grinding for the DFA and the sniper rifle as well, and I feel like they can take it a step further if they add guns to the strikes as well. Like, the Nightfall loot is amazing so far. Like, I really like that. I don't care about the sparrows and ships or the ghost, but I do really like the weapons, and I feel like that's something they did right. And I know if they looked at their Nightfall numbers, people were definitely playing and streaming the game a lot more. So that's one thing I would definitely do. I would add way more strike weapons to all the strikes, all the ones from the past and all the ones in the future, and then also like other gear. So like the helmet and the Malak strike back with the hunter, like I thought that was really cool. Or like grinding for the Titan helmet with Ala Cool, or like grinding for the arms with the Bond brothers, you know, like all these things. Like, these are just named off the top of my head because they were cool things that allowed you to keep playing like the same activities multiple times but get more out of them. And that's a big thing, and I just feel like they've missed so much with losing the customization and losing the value of bringing meaningful loot. Like, they just think that they can just throw a couple strikes in a playlist and that's okay. It's not, and they need to know that it's not okay. Actual weapon rewards are really important, and I feel like if they keep just throwing us ghosts and sparrows, people are gonna go find other games because no one's trying to sparrow around the patrol event. That's dumb. It's just dumb. So we'll move off that. Let's talk a little bit more about the Crucible. So the Crucible is getting a lot of good changes. 2 of the changes coming are the ranking system, the glory ranking system, where basically you gain glory reputation when you win and you lose it when you lose, and you gain more when you get win streaks and lose more when you get loss streaks. And based on those different tiers, you get different weapons, and the second highest one, I believe, if you get there, or maybe it's the third highest, but whatever it is, then you get Redrick's Claymore, which is going to be a really good pulse rifle, the best gun in the game, and I'm definitely going to be grinding for it, and I really like it. I feel like it's a step in the right direction because they're not guaranteeing that every player in the player base is going to get it. They're guaranteeing that the people that work hard and that try and put in time are going to be rewarded with that, because everybody doesn't need to always have every weapon. That's okay. That just keeps people playing the game. Like, it's not unfair, it's just the way a game works. Like, if I worked 8 hours, if I had an 8-hour shift and then I watched somebody come in for 5 minutes and then we got paid the same amount, I'd probably be pretty upset. I'd be like, why am I working 8 hours when I could just work 5? And that's just dumb to me. So hopefully they fix that. I'm praying that Bungie's gonna get that together. So other than that, guys, I feel like another thing they really need to get rid of is the Chuck E. Cheese token system. I'm tired of the tokens. I don't think they're going anywhere yet, but I feel like it's definitely something that they need to look into getting rid of. I'm so tired of it. Like, tokens are not meaningful. I miss bounties. I miss having rank ups on your Cryptart. I miss having rank ups on your Vanguard. I miss having rank ups on your Crucible, because turning in a bunch of tokens are just dumb to me. I just feel like we don't gain any reputation. It doesn't tell us how many times we get engrams based on that, and so it just ends up being a non-stop like token slot machine where you get weapons that you don't care about because there's no random rules or any better system, so that when you get multiple anti-opes you don't care because you already have one and they're all the same. So random rolls and stuff to transition from that aren't coming in this DLC, guys. It is going to be something that's going to be worked on in September. So until then, I'm not going to talk about bringing in random rolls and making guns rolls a lot more different, because that's something that's already in the works and they've talked about when it's coming. Now what is coming in the meantime is exotic masterworks, and hopefully those are good, and they're going to allow exotics to be way better, and it's also going to be like mini exotic quests to get those exotic masterworks. So it's not just going to be where you get some masterwork cores and then you have an exotic masterwork. No, it's going to take actual quests and actual grinding to get them. So I feel like if they can get all of those things right within what I talked about, and then just some quality of life changes, like some fun quests, like shader fixes where I can actually delete shaders. Like, I just don't understand why that's so hard. And then just some other like small quality of life fixes. I feel like this DLC can actually be decent, and it can be good. And I really feel like it can do enough to at least hold people over until September, because I feel like that's going to be really important, is just surviving until September, when they really bring in the changes that has people that went to the summit excited, that previously left the game and said that they believe that September is going to be the time where the game really comes back. But the thing is, it doesn't matter if they don't make it to them. So hopefully, guys, based off what we talked about, this will make the game better, and hopefully they'll follow the things that I'm talking about. But we'll see in a week. So get in the comment box below, guys. Let me know what you think about the things that I talked about. Sorry that I talked your ear off, but I did want to at least get out all my thoughts. So that's really all I had for now. Hopefully I didn't leave anything out, and if I did, I'll just throw it in the comment box below. If you like videos like this, guys, please let me know. If not, I won't do them, but so far the reception's been pretty good. So like I said, guys, follow me on Twitch if you haven't already, at cbgray, twitch.tv/cbgray. We're going to be streaming the Warmind a bunch, and I'm looking forward to that. So like I said, can't wait to talk to you guys in the comment box below, and I'll talk to you guys in the next Destiny video. Thanks, I love you guys.